Today we will be replacing the full display assembly on an Apple iPhone 7. You will be handling fragile parts, so take your time and be gentle. This repair will take about 20 to 30 minutes. Required tools: anti-static mat, anti-static wristband, works repair mat, pentalobe screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver, plastic spudger, plastic opening tool, heat gun, magnetizer, tripoint screwdriver, and suction cup. Be sure to use the works repair mat to keep all screws organized. Some screws have the same size but different lengths and can be easily misidentified during reassembly. Wear safety glasses to protect your eyes from any glass shaken free during the repair. Always wear the anti-static wrist strap when repairing a device. This will prevent static charges from being discharged onto the device's logic board, which can cause irreversible damage. Place the works repair mat above your workspace on the anti-static mat. This will prevent accidentally sliding screws around during repair. Before disassembling your iPhone, be sure it is powered off. Not powering off the device can cause board level damage or software issues. If your display glass is cracked, keep further breakage contained and prevent bodily harm during your repair by taping the glass using packing tape. Remove the two pentalobe screws holding the display assembly in place. Place the two pentalobe screws onto their respective locations on the repair mat. Use the heat gun to heat the perimeter of the screen to loosen the adhesive holding the screen in place. Heat the screen for approximately 30 seconds. Repeat the heating process as the screen cools. Press the suction cup onto the screen just above the home button. Be sure the cup is completely on the screen to get a tight seal. While holding the iPhone in one hand, pull up on the suction cup with your thumb lightly to create an opening between the display assembly and the rear case. While lifting on the suction cup, insert the plastic opening tool between the display assembly bezel and rear case just above the headphone jack. With the blue plastic pry tool inserted, insert the flat end of the spudger and slide it along the perimeter of the screen. This will aid in separating the adhesive that holds the edges of the display in place. Use caution when sliding the spudger along the right-hand side of the device, as there are flux cables that can easily become damaged. Do not try and completely remove the front panel assembly from the rear case, as there are several ribbon cables still attached along the right-hand side of the phone. Slide the screen down slightly to release the hooks on the top of the screen from the frame. Fold the screen over to the right, opening in a book-style motion. Ensure the right edge of the screen sits on the right-hand side of the frame. This will avoid putting tension on the display flex cables. Remove the following 4 tri-point screws securing the battery and display cable bracket. 3 1.2mm screws and 1 2.4mm screw. Make sure these screws are placed onto their respective locations on the works repair mat and not misplaced in the process. Placing these screws into the incorrect location during reassembly may cause irreparable damage to the logic board. Remove the battery and display cable bracket from the logic board. Use the pointed end of the spudger to disconnect the battery by inserting between the board and battery flex and then lifting. Use the flat end of the spudger to disconnect the two display assembly cables. Remove the two 1.3mm Phillips screws securing the front-facing camera connection bracket. Fold the screen back onto the device for easier access to the right Phillips screw of the front camera bracket. Remove the front-facing camera bracket. Use the flat end of the spudger to carefully disconnect the front-facing camera flex cable. Remove the display assembly from the rear case. Use the flat end of the spudger to remove any loose adhesive on the perimeter of the frame. Before continuing with the rest of the repair process, we will test the new full display assembly. This will ensure 3 key points. First, you will identify that the replacement part is fully functional prior to full install. Second, replacing the part will resolve the customer's issue. Some issues are board related and may not be repairable through part replacement. Third, you will be able to identify if damage was caused during the rest of the repair, as at this point the part is fully functional. Carefully remove the tape holding the front-facing camera flex cable against the back of the display. Test the new display assembly by connecting the front-facing camera flex cable. The home button extension force touch flex cable. and the LCD and digitizer flex cable. Connect the battery flex cable last. Lay the screen down onto the frame. Power on the device to test. Before testing, we will enable the assistive touch function of the device. This is done by tapping on Settings, General, Accessibility, and finally Assistive Touch. Tapping on the Assistive Touch icon and then Home will take us to the home screen of the device. Move the Assistive Touch control around the entirety of the screen to ensure there are no dead spots in the digitizer. Open the camera app to ensure the front-facing camera functions and is free of dirt or debris. Open the Weather, Stocks, and Notes apps to inspect the LCD for lines or discoloration. Next, open the Voice Memos app to test the proximity sensor and earpiece speaker. When covering the top of the screen while playing back a recording, the display should go dark. If any issues are found with the function of the new display assembly, power off the device or disconnect the battery, disconnect the full assembly flex cables, and finally reconnect. Now power on the device. The majority of function issues are due to an improper connection between the flex cable and the logic board. If the issues persist, test a second full assembly. Once testing is completed, power off the device and disconnect the battery flex cable. Disconnect the new tested full display assembly. Disconnect the front-facing camera flex cable.
Inspect all screws to ensure they are present in the full display assembly. If any screws are not present, inspect the packaging in full assembly. Tighten all screws on the full assembly until resistance is felt. Do not over-tighten the screws.
Place the rear case and logic board to the side. Remove the following 4 tri-point screws from the home button bracket: 1 1.1mm screw and 3 1.3mm screws. Ensure you are using the tri-point screwdriver during this process. Using the incorrect screwdriver may lead to stripping of the screws. Remove the home button bracket. Carefully disconnect the home button from the back flex cable using the flat end of the plastic spudger. Damaging the home button flex cable will permanently disable the Touch ID and home button function of the device. Apply even low-level heat to the glass side of the screen near the home button. Ensure the heat gun is in constant motion and not being held in one spot. Use the flat end of the plastic spudger to free the flux cable portion of the home button.
Keep the spudger as flat to the screen as possible to avoid cracking the Touch IC chip on the flex.
Press the back side of the home button to push the home flex through the front side of the screen. This is different from previous iPhone models, so ensure pressure is being applied from the correct side. Remove the protective film on the back of the LCD shield plate of the new full assembly. The protective film near the bottom of the screen will need to be peeled up slightly to allow insertion of the home button. Place the home button flex cable into the new display assembly. This is done by feeding the flex cable through the front of the screen and aligning with the back flex connection. Run your finger over the home button on the front side of the screen to ensure a flush fit. This button is not mechanical, so it will not click as in previous iPhone models. Align the flex cable by using the small plastic post on the screen. The post must go through the opening on the flex cable. Connect the home button flex to the back flex cable. Place the home button bracket on the display, securing the home button. Insert the 4 tri-point screws securing the home button bracket. Connect the front-facing camera flex cable to the logic board with your index finger. Use minimal force and ensure alignment is achieved before applying pressure. Insert the front-facing camera flex cable bracket and secure using the 2 Phillips screws. Connect the home button extension Force Touch cable. Connect the LCD and digitizer flex cable. Connect the battery flex cable last. Insert the battery and display flex cable bracket. Insert the 4 tri-point screws securing the bracket in place. Make sure these screws are placed into the same location that they were removed from. Placing these screws into the incorrect location during reassembly may cause irreparable damage to the logic board.
Ensure that the display IC aligns with the recessed portion of the loudspeaker in the frame. If resistance is felt when sealing the device along the bottom right-hand side of the device, the IC is not aligned. Pressing with excessive force will cause damage to the screen. Use the flat end of the plastic spudger to carefully move the IC to align.
Insert the top display assembly clips into the top of the frame by sliding into place. Use your thumbs to evenly press and clip the display into the frame. If you feel heavy resistance, do not use excessive force. Reopen the device and ensure that all components and plates were installed correctly. Insert the 2 pentalobe screws into the frame, securing the display assembly in place. Power on the device and test all functions to ensure they are working properly before notifying the customer of repair completion. All testing must be documented on the mobile repair checklist. If you experience any issues while testing your device, some troubleshooting tips are: hold the home and power button until you see the Apple logo, performing a soft reset. Disconnect and reconnect the battery. Check the connection of the part showing issue. And finally, cross-test by using a different part. Inspect your repair mat for any remaining parts or pieces. Remember to place the end user screen from this repair into the packing of the new display assembly used. Mark the box labeled End User to indicate as a screen for recycle. If you have questions related to this repair, please contact Works for assistance.